This is bad. We are about to have 5 days in a row of severe weather, where scenes like this could be common across huge swaths of the country. Although that is a lightning bolt through a tornado, so I don't know when we're gonna see that again. Now, who all is in the path of these storms? And when will this all time out? We're gonna have all that and more in your Friday forecast starting now. That screen grab is absolutely insane. Let's take a look at the visible satellite first of all, guys. Look at these storms. Look at these complexes of storms that rolled through Oklahoma and Texas. You've got an outflow boundary right there. You've got another outflow boundary right there. You've even got one here in Texas. All of those could be a focal point for storms today, and maybe even some tornadoes. That is so cool. The rest of the country, though, is pretty cloudy. We've got some clouds in the Ohio Valley. I've got some clouds in the Midwest. The only state that is basically cloud-free is Florida. The sunshine state is getting plenty of sunshine, and that is going to continue for the foreseeable future. Okay, so we talked about that severe weather risk today. We saw what happened yesterday in the Panhandle. Looks like we may have more Panhandle magic. Once again, we've got this slight risk down here in Texas. That includes cities like Amarillo, Lubbock, and the marginal even goes down to Midland, but I think the big area for severe storms is once again going to be in the Texas Panhandle. Lubbock is the new Clovis. And we do have a risk for tornadoes today. We've got this 5% area centered around here in Lubbock, Texas. Like the fourth time I've said Lubbock. There is a nice hotel though that I love to stay in Lubbock. The tornadoes are definitely possible today. We are going to have some supercells that form. Let's take a look at the models and see what they say. Once again, storms are going to fire on the dry line by about 3, 4, 5 p.m. Central. You notice things start to pop here in the Panhandle. Once we get to about 6 to 7 p.m., right around sunset, that's the magic hour. That's when these supercells should really get going, and that's when we could have a couple of tornadoes just like yesterday. And as we go into the night, it'll likely be an epic lightning show. Those storms will eventually form into a line and slide off to the east. Now, on Saturday, once again, stop me if you've heard this before, we've got another severe weather risk in the Texas Panhandle. This time it does include Clovis, but right now that's only a marginal risk, 1 out of 5. I'm not too impressed with Saturday, to be honest, guys. I think there could be some storms that form once again along the dry line, but we're not talking about a widespread severe weather outbreak like we will be later on in the video. And then on Sunday, we reload. Once again, we've got a slight risk for severe storms. So this will be the 5th day in a row right now that we've had severe weather. But this time it's up here in Nebraska. We could get severe storms from North Dakota all the way through Texas along the Mexico border. But once again, I think the best chance for strong storms, even maybe a tornado or two, is going to be up there in Nebraska, maybe even up into South Dakota. And interestingly enough, guys, the NAM doesn't have a lot of storms popping on Sunday. Has a couple of things forming right here in Nebraska. That's where we'll probably have the greatest risk for severe weather on Sunday. We'll likely have very large hail in these storms. There'll likely be supercells here in Nebraska. We could be talking about a tornado or two, as the tornado parameters will be off the charts here from Nebraska all the way through the Texas Panhandle and into Kansas. Sunday, we do need to watch. It could be a sneaky day. If any of these storms do form and kind of ride right along those tornado conditions, things could get very interesting on Sunday. So once again, to summarize, guys, we've got severe weather expected on Friday. Tornadoes are possible. Severe weather expected on Saturday. Tornadoes are also possible. And severe weather expected on Sunday, April 27th. Now, what we haven't talked about is Monday, April 28th. This could be the biggest day out of all of them. We already have a very large area of 30%, and that is an enhanced risk for some very strong storms. We could be talking about a tornado outbreak. Monday will likely be a very big day. Folks in Wisconsin, Minnesota, the entire state of Iowa, even into Missouri, need to be on high alert for Monday. It looks like all hazards outbreak is going to happen. And here is why. We are going to have an upper level low centered in Utah with a jet streak to the south of it. Watch as we go throughout the day on Monday. That storm system is going to push pretty quickly to the north and east. As it does so, that jet stream is going to expand. It's going to get a little bit stronger, and that will be our big catalyst for severe storms on Monday afternoon and evening. Notice how quickly that jet streak goes from New Mexico all the way up into Minnesota. That is what's called ejecting. It ejects quickly, and because it ejects so quickly, those types of situations tend to spawn tornado outbreaks and tend to overperform. That right there, that is bad. And Monday, we're also gonna have plenty of storm Gatorade. That's CAPE. That's the analogy I like to use for CAPE. And the Euro is showing a massive amount of storm energy from Texas all the way up through Wisconsin. These models tend to underdo the energy. So the fact that this is showing CAPE of 2, 3, 4,000 in some places, the atmosphere is going to be primed and ready to explode. Maybe not like that. And Monday, we also will likely have a low-level jet. Those are winds at about 850 millibars. That's about a mile up in the atmosphere. Those will be ramping up in a big way. That red, the orange you see on the map to the right, that is our low-level jet. And that just means the winds are going to be turning very quickly in the upper levels of the atmosphere. There's your tornadoes. And we're not done. We got more storms expected on Tuesday, April 29th. Storm Prediction Center has highlighted this area from upstate New York all the way through Oklahoma and Texas, including Ohio. Probably going to bust like it always does. Monday and Tuesday look to be very potent with all hazards possible, especially Monday. Stop what you're doing right now. Pick up your mouse in your hand just like this, throw it in the air, grab it again, hit the subscribe button, and mash the like button, and leave a comment below. Look, someone's leaving a comment. This video is so cool. Wow. Back to you, Stormcat. Here's how Monday will all go down. So we'll start the day, probably rain-free, maybe a couple of showers Monday morning in the risk area, but watch as we go into Monday afternoon. We could have actually a warm front that'll move through Monday by about noon, and that could cause some initial showers and storms, an initial round of showers and storms for places like Minnesota and Iowa. But that is not the main event. Do not be fooled, because once that warm front moves through, the atmosphere is going to quickly destabilize. This low will be pulling up warm, moist air from the south. That's going to make things a whole lot more unstable. And then you're also going to have the twisting in the atmosphere from this low pressure. So watch as we go into the evening. Storms aren't going to pop along the cold front right there. There's your signal. That's 10 p.m. Central. So that's like later in the night on Monday. So I think this will primarily be a Monday evening into Monday overnight. Now, those storms should generally dissipate on Tuesday morning. Notice how that green goes away. But then Tuesday afternoon, right along that cold front, there it is right there. They repop, they reform, and that is your signal for severe weather on Tuesday. So it looks like Monday, we're talking about primarily evening into the overnight hours. Tuesday looks like it's more going to be like an afternoon type into early evening for the Ohio Valley into Oklahoma and Texas and Missouri. This is going to be a very busy stretch for severe weather. We looked at all 5 of those risks. Now, what's the weekend going to look like for the rest of us here? So Friday, we're likely going to have some showers and storms from the Mississippi and the Tennessee valleys, places like Kentucky, Ohio, Tennessee, Indiana, Pennsylvania. You guys are going to get wet on Friday and Saturday night. Some pretty steady rain's going to move in, maybe a couple rumbles of thunder. Then Saturday, that rain's going to push off to the northeast. Once again, a soggy Saturday will be on tap for folks there in the northeast. But then sunshine and dry weather replaces that in the Ohio Valley here on Saturday. So it looks like a beautiful start to the weekend for folks there. Folks out on the plains, once again, you guys have those severe weather risks. So we'll likely have several rounds of storms that move through. And then out west should be beautiful, except for in the Sierra Nevadas, where we do have some snow. We get actually some pretty heavy snow over the next couple of days there. For any skiers still there, it's like you're getting some good late season conditions. And then on Sunday, looks like another beautiful day for most of the country east of the Mississippi. Should be relatively rain-free, except for those in the upper Midwest, where that's that disturbance that we talked about. That's going to be the catalyst for all of our severe weather on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. But let's not think about that. Let's just think about the weekend and how the weather for most of us is going to be beautiful. This is actually pretty interesting. This is the U.S. Drought Monitor. So this shows you, okay, what areas are in drought, what aren't. We've got this big area in southern Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. They need rain bad. So they are in a big time drought. I think they're really going to get it. Maybe a couple of storms right along the Rio Grande. And then Florida is the other problem spot. Florida is off to one of the driest starts to the year that I can remember, and it doesn't look like they're going to get rain anytime soon. Could be talking about some fire danger down there, and may even have some water shortages. I'd have to watch watering that lawn down there in Florida. Lastly, guys, we did have our podcast last night. We had an epic guest. Gabe Garfield was on the podcast. So go ahead and check that out on our YouTube page on the Stormfront Freaks episodes playlist. We are going to be making those public to our entire community. Any podcasts that we have going forward are going to be live streamed here on YouTube. So make sure every other Thursday night you tune in here on the Stormfront Freaks YouTube page. Also, guys, look at this. We are basically less than 20 people away from hitting 8,000 subscribers. What I want you to do, if you're watching this video, I want you to send our channel to as many people as you know. I'm talking about your friends, your aunts, your cousins, your arch enemies. Tom Cruise, that guy from high school you barely talk to anymore. Send it to him. Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook. Get it everywhere. We need to get to 8,000 and we need your help. Create a YouTube account for your cat for all I care and have them subscribe. We would love to have your cat subscribe to our channel. All right, guys, well, that about does it for today. This is the cat of the video, TGIF cat, because it is Friday. I want all of you to have a wonderful weekend. Look for another forecast video probably on Sunday where we'll dive into everything that you need to know for those severe weather outbreaks on Monday and Tuesday. And also look for me to probably go live on Monday, possibly Tuesday, depending on how these severe weather risks shape out. All right, guys, that about does it for us today. Find someone, tell them you love them, tell them you care about them. Do something nice for someone today. It's the Stormcat 5, and I'll see you on the next one.